Okay, today on the 50-pound brain, we've got our gaskets in, and it's time to start reassembling the transmission. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think the overdrive didn't work at all, and then we're going to press on with reassembly. Okay, I mentioned in the last video about these passages that were plugged, and we're going to see right now if they need to be drilled. They don't. Ooh, see how that one's hard. That one's okay. I'll have to check the book and see if that's supposed to be a pass-through hole. This one is. But anyway, so the gasket was intact on these, and that's kind of an issue because this is how the overdrive unit gets oil. You can only fill the transmission from up here. And so this is how the overdrive gets fed oil, because it's an oil actuated overdrive unit. And I remember 2 videos ago when we were dealing with the overdrive unit, that when I took the drain plug off, I said there wasn't much oil in there. Well, that was probably the whole problem with the overdrive, is that it just had no oil to operate the system. The overdrive in and of itself would have probably functioned well if I had a way to put oil in it, but it's unfortunate that to fix this, I had to pull it apart, because that's the only way to fix this problem, is to punch out this hole in this gasket that should have been here when whoever put it together last time. Could have avoided a whole bunch of work, but now I know. We've got our repair manual in our commemorative yellow binder, so let's get going. Okay, first thing we're going to do is try and assemble this one-way clutch. They call out a special tool, which is really just a kind of a ring that holds all this mess together. It's a circle with one slot in it, and then you can rotate this thing within it and throw these in, and it holds it all together as you rotate it and stick the rollers in. It's pretty slick. Of course, I don't have one of those, and since I just downloaded the manual, and I'll leave a link in the description for anyone else that might want to download it if they own an overdrive unit or want to own one, I would have made one on the lathe. But I got to get this thing back together so I can get it out of the shop and into the car, and progress can be made on assembling the car. So we're going to try this. I'm going to try gluing the rollers in with assembly lube, nice and gooey. Hopefully it'll hold the whole mess together just till we get it in there. And once we're in there, we're good to go. So I am going to put some gloves on, though. I know that's shocking. I don't normally do it, but I'm getting tired of tasting this gear oil all the time. I think it's absorbing in through my skin. Okay, here we go with our first attempt. Put some of this on the face. Plus, it's going to be good for when we check this thing out. Stick that in. Put some on this. I hope you can see that. I can't see what the camera sees. I go and check the view every now and then. Here's where the hands of a surgeon come in. Oh, okay. Yes, sweetness. All right, let's try it again. All right, I think the last time I'm sitting here and squeezing it, and it's kind of making it go to a smaller diameter. Let's hope that is enough to accomplish our goal here. Oh no! Nope. Gosh. Ha! Let's see if this works. I got it too tight. Oh man, it is. It's way too tight. But let's see if we can just ease it up a little bit. I don't know what's catching us up. Oh, I see. Bam! Ha ha ha! I hope that ended up on camera. Well, I'm sorry you didn't get to see it, but it did work. Like I said, I can't see what the camera sees because I'm using my phone. But yeah, basically I got it in there and it slid right down. So here's your special tool for putting that together. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to put this thing together. And the book says to have these timing marks radially out. And then the sun gear can go in. I don't think it has any timing marks. Nope. So now there are other steps in here in the procedure that we don't have to do because we didn't disassemble. Oh, see, that one's off. Like, why isn't this going together? This is what's good times right here. Getting all three of these gears lined up. Oh wow, that one's way off. And I don't really know why it matters that these are like this. Balancing maybe? I don't know. Okay. If I wasn't timing it, it's like Let's see, is everybody lined up? Oh, everybody is. If it wasn't timing it, it would drop right in. Let's hose it with the assembly lube. I hope this stuff isn't detrimental to this transmission. I don't think it is. Besides, it's Lucas. Isn't that British? I know Lucas Electrics, Prince of Darkness. So, and then this baby. Oh, please don't fall over. So it doesn't drop out. This goes in here. Yep. It's not in there straight. Is it? No. There we go. Oh yeah. Let's drop some in there too. Uh-oh. Been out of our magical mystery lube. Okay. Cool. Then I do believe this goes on, but I don't think we need the holder anymore. Our Reveille coffee can, not a sponsor. There we go. Okie doke. Okay. Now we're ready to put all this mess together. So let's see. Looks like that should go like that. Oh, I see. There we go. Okay. Now, if your springs have survived, they have colors on the ends. This one, this one. These four are red, and these four are yellow. And the reds are ever so slightly shorter than the yellows. And there's a picture in the book that tells you which ones go where. Let's see. Okay. Remember, I labeled these left and right. That was as I was looking at them. So left, right, left piston, and of course, process of elimination, that's the right piston. So we're going to put this thing together. We put these two pistons in. The springs go in as we are mating this to the transmission. So, so I'm going to get actually I can put the pistons in the housing. Then we'll worry about that because these get put on and torqued and all that mess. Now I'm going to treat these. This has the, I don't know if this is the older style with the compression rings, like a engine piston. But I'm going to put these slots 90 degrees from each other. So there's no alignment between any of them. Okay, we're back to no gloves. Okay. Now there's a gap between the two sets of rings to where there's not a compression ring. So it's just the piston body. I gotta stand this up so I can see what I'm doing. I just need to adjust or motivate it a little bit. Look at that. Yep. Bam. Okay. Now I did oil. I pre-oiled the little cylinder thingies. So I'm not. These aren't going in dry. Okay, 90s. Oh, see, if you tried to align them like that, you couldn't do it. If I just sit here and randomly twist them, they'll all align. I think that's one of the subsections of Murphy's Law. I'll have to ask a lawyer. Trying to keep you in view, I have to apologize for a couple things on the last video, or the disassembly part of this. One is, yeah, how much stuff happened off camera because I didn't realize my viewing window. And then, let's take that out. I don't need that right now. And then the other thing is, I don't know how that appeared, but there was a ton of empty, just like, what, 15 minutes of black screen after that video. And I don't know why. The software I use is supposed to disregard leading and trailing. Supposed to not convert it. And it didn't, for whatever reason. It left it in. And so on YouTube it says like a 37-minute video, but it really was only like 19. Then 16 or 17 minutes of dark, empty screen. So I apologize for that. I should have caught that when I was putting the video together. I don't know why this one's being more difficult. Oh, there we go. All right, there's the first one. Putting too much pressure on it, getting this ring out of its groove. I don't know if you can see what's happening here. I want you to. Okay. There we go. Okay. our motivator. Don't pound on it too hard, because these rings, if you bust a ring, you're done. Here we go. Okay. Because I do not believe they sell replacements, pistons. Maybe you can get the late model pistons that have the O-rings instead of these compression rings. But I don't know for a fact. Haven't checked the new Moss Motors catalog. Okay. So I went through the book, and these Brits operate in the same way that I enjoy, because there is no torque value for these 4 nuts that these bridge bars are held down with, which is a beautiful thing. Ooh, okay. So just put them on and snug them down. I guess we should have these facing in. They'll be easier to crimp. I think. I'm going to assume. We'll see. You know what happens when you assume. These dudes, they take a ton of abuse, because when these pistons extend, that's what engages the whole overdrive system. So and then those 8 springs I showed you earlier, the red and the yellow springs, those are what disengage it. So we get a socket. Okay. I tighten them all down with 7/16 socket. Now, and I just kind of, since there's no torque value, I just kind of arranged them the best I could to where the apex of a corner on the nut here was between the 2 legs of the lock washer, so that both we get maximum lockage, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But lockageness. Yeah, that. Oops. I hope you can see that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to take that back apart, and I'm going to show you why. I could have edited it out, but I wanted you to see this. So this ring is a wedge mate fit into this housing. Well, this whole thing is probably, what, we'll assume 1957, so it's give or take 70 years old. It no longer wedge mate fits tight enough to where I can count on it to be leak free, because that's what the book says. There's no gasket and no sealant should be used because of that wedge mate. Well, guess what? we're going to put sealant on this because I don't want this thing vomiting oil once I get it in the car. So I'm going to disassemble it. I'm not going to show you. You've already seen it come apart once. And disassemble it, put a bead RTV, clean this up real nice, put a bead RTV on it on the meeting surface, and then I'll throw it back together. Okay. Let's turn that down. Okay. Looks like we got good squishage out of almost everywhere. So now put this back in. Almost want this to sit on something so that it'll keep pressure on it as it sets up. That'll do. I don't even know why we have this giant chunk of steel, but we do. So I want it to sit square. Okay, now do it again. Okay, I think we're about ready to put this on the back end of the transmission. I do want to put this selector valve together first, just because it can get out of whack if the spring and the ball and plunger, all that mess, isn't in place right now. So let me round that stuff up. Okay, so let me show you what I did here. I put all these bolts in to squash this down to get maximum squishitude on our RTV, and that way we guarantee that we haven't thrown off the clearances, or we've done minimal effect on our clearances with the RTV. So let's press on. Plus it just gives us a better, makes me feel better that it's gluing the two together, and hopefully we'll be leak free and be less affected by all the other stuff we're doing. So let's press on. So we have this in here. This is our actuation lever that gets activated over here. Let me see if you can see. Activated over here by the electrical solenoid. That there's switches on the top of the transmission that tell it it's in second or fourth gear. Some of them only, I think, have fourth gear switch. Depends on the year model. But and then what happens is when the solenoid is activated, it pulls this up. Oops, see. And this is what happened last time when we tore it apart. Pushes up this little valving shaft that puts pressure to the pistons and then starts the whole process going. So now I just need to look at the order that these go in. I forget. I'm glad I found this book. This is pretty sweet. Nice picture of the operating valve. Figure 9. Beautiful. So now I know how to put it back together. I don't have to do the picture-in-picture thing in the video because that is painful with the software I have. Ball. Plunger. Spring. Of course, that went in crooked. Well, gravity is king. Luckily, everything's steel. Okay. Ball. See if they'll both stick to this. Oh, yeah. Good. And then our cap and copper washer. Yep. All right, we're good. Torqued to the proper spec. Let this sit. This surface is clean. We're ready actually to put a gasket on it and put it on the transmission if we want to. I gotta check the time because I go to the junkyard to get Vivian. Did I tell you about Vivian? I need to get Vivian some parts. So this is Vivian, 2005. Let me zoom out. Mazda 3. She's got a little bit of the cataracts going. Cleared up one eye a little bit. But this one's, she's seen some better days. It's actually a fun little car to drive, even though the suspension has a bunch of knocks in it and is super kind of scary. It is fun to drive because it's a stick shift. And been missing that vehicle interaction. So I bought it super cheap. Previous owner was getting ready to drive it to the junkyard just because he got a new car. And I just wanted to beat her with a heater. And Vivian fills the bill. Okay, so I got to tell you the story behind the name Vivian for that car. Vivian is the name of Julie Roberts' character in Pretty Woman. She was rough, but with a little work and time, she polished up real nice. That's going to be the same with Vivian. Once they get the bugs and annoying parts worked out of her, it'll be a fun little car to drive. So there you go.